So in case you weren't aware, this weekend we're getting another raid day in Pokémon GO, and the details behind this raid day was kept secret by Niantic for quite some time, but we now know what Pokémon are going to be featured. This weekend's Sparring Partners Raid Day is going to be featuring Mega Heracross along with Hariyama and Scraggy. I know for a fact that this is going to be a very divisive raid day because, on the one hand, we're getting the return of Mega Heracross, which is a Mega Evolution that a lot of players have been asking for. And then, on the other hand, we're getting Scraggy and Hariyama, which are two Pokemon that haven't been relevant in Pokemon GO for a very long time. So yeah, that's precisely what I want to talk about in this video. I'm going to be going over all of the details for this Sparring Partners Raid Day, and also talking about how the community is reacting to it. Alright, what's happening everyone? Count Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon GO video, and I hope your day is going really well, and let's get right into it. So we gotta talk about this weekend's Sparring Partners Raid Day. We're getting another raid day this month, which is very unusual for Niantic. Typically they only have 1 or 2 raid days for an entire season, but it seems like they're doing multiple raid days in a row, which I'm totally okay with because raid days are actually some pretty good content. Over this past weekend, we had Mega Audino Raid Day, and to be honest with you, I just completely forgot about it. Even though it was meant to be a really good Stardust grind and it was a brand new Mega Evolution, it's just one of those Mega Evolutions that I just did not prioritize, so I do think that eventually I will be getting that Mega Evolution for the Pokédex entry, but I'm not in a rush to get it. But when it comes to this weekend, we are going to be getting Mega Heracross coming back to Pokemon GO, and that is a Mega Evolution that does have some gameplay relevance, especially when it comes to Bug-type raid damage as well as Fighting-type raid damage. It's one of those Mega Evolutions that is actually pretty good. Yeah, it may not necessarily be the absolute best of the best, but considering that it does have a duo typing of Bug and Fighting, in some cases it might actually prove to be useful. So a lot of players do want this Mega Evolution, and it's something that Niantic has not brought to Pokemon GO in quite some time, and a lot of players suspected that they wouldn't bring it back to Pokemon GO until Scopely Inc. would take over. But I'm really glad that it is returning to Pokemon GO, and I do think it's going to be something that a lot of players will actually want to get. But interestingly enough, this Sparring Partners Raid Day is not going to be exclusively just Mega Heracross. I think some players would have actually preferred that, but we're also going to be seeing a whole bunch of raids for both Hariyama as well as Scraggy. And interestingly enough, both of these Pokemon are going to be getting a new move in their move pool after this raid day. But I don't think it's going to be enough to make these Pokemon relevant. I think Niantic just included these Pokemon just to make this raid day a little bit more unique, but I really feel like the main focus is going to be Mega Heracross this weekend. But that might be just me. I really do not know exactly how the Pokemon GO community is feeling, but I have a good idea based on some of the feedback that I've seen on social media. But regardless, before we get into any of that, let's talk about the details for this raid day, and then afterwards I'll be sharing some of the thoughts that I personally have, along with what other people in the community have been saying. The Sparring Partners Raid Day is going to be happening this weekend on April 13th from 2 o'clock p.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. local time. The featured Pokemon for this raid day is going to be Mega Heracross, Hariyama, and Scraggy. All 3 of these Pokemon are going to be in raid battles, and they're also going to have a boosted shiny rate. Now during this event, we're going to see the following event bonuses. You're going to get 5 additional raid passes when you spin gym photo discs for a total of 6, and you're going to have an increased chance at getting shiny Heracross, shiny Hariyama, as well as shiny Scraggy from raids. This is actually pretty important because pretty much all 3 of these shinies are quite rare, so if you still do not have any of these shinies, this is going to be a great opportunity for you to get them. And then, very typical with these raid days, the remote raid limit is going to be increased to 20 from 5. This is something that you should definitely utilize if you like to do remote raids. Unfortunately, they're not going to be giving you remote raids at a discount. It's going to be the same price that it has been, and I do think it's quite a ripoff. But if you are someone who has quite a lot of Pokecoins and you do want to do a whole bunch of remote raids, just keep in mind that you're going to be able to do up to 20 instead of 5. There's also going to be a timed research during this event, which is going to award you with 10,000 Stardust, along with a bonus that will give you 1,000 additional Stardust when you complete raid battles. And then finally, because this is a raid day, there is of course a paid research ticket, which is going to give you 8 additional raid passes when you spin gym photo discs for a total of 14, and then you're going to have an increased chance to get Rare Candy XL from raid battles. And then you're going to get 50% more experience from raids and double the amount of Stardust when you complete raids. Alright, so regarding this raid day, it's pretty straightforward and it's pretty standard. We're going to be seeing the very typical bonuses. There is going to be a paid ticket which will give you a bunch of free raid passes. And I do think that the main focus is going to be Mega Heracross. And it seems like both Mega Heracross along with the 2 fighting types are going to be getting the brand new move. But I really do not know based on the wording. I think, yeah, that might necessarily be the case, but I don't think this new move is going to be a game changer for any of these Pokemon. It's going to be relatively the same. Mega Heracross is going to be outclassed by Mega Lucario, but in some situations it might prove to be the best Mega Evolution for you to use. And then when it comes to both Hariyama and Scraggy, I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference. But I will say that when it comes to this raid day, I think it's going to be somewhat decent. I think overall, unless it's a brand new Mega Evolution or it's some sort of legendary or some rare form, I don't think a lot of players actually care too much about raid days, but I think this one is going to be the exception. Because it's been almost a year since we've last seen Mega Heracross in raid battles, I think a lot of players would actually prefer to have Mega Heracross in raids, and I think a raid day is kind of perfect for it. But when it comes to the actual community sentiment, it seems like it's pretty much exactly aligned with how I personally feel, where there's a lot of players who are excited about Mega Heracross coming back to Pokemon Go, and there's also a bunch of players who just simply do not care about Hariyama or Scraggy. Yeah, getting a boosted shiny rate for both of these Pokemon is somewhat exciting. I think there's a lot of players out there who do not have themselves a shiny of either of these Pokemon just yet, so that by itself might attract some players to actually participate in those raids. But aside from that, I don't think anyone is that excited about both Scraggy and Hariyama. Both of them have been completely out of the meta when it comes to PvP, and when it comes to raid battles, they've never been top tier. And even with this new move, I don't think that's going to change. So yeah, that's pretty much all I really have to say regarding this Sparring Partners Raid Day. Yeah, I think it's really great that we're getting Mega Heracross back in Pokemon Go, but at the same time, I don't necessarily know if Hariyama and Scraggy are necessarily going to generate that much hype. But aside from that, I would like to know your thoughts regarding this raid day down below. Are you excited for the Sparring Partners Raid Day? Am I completely off base when it comes to Hariyama and Scraggy? Do you feel like there are good reasons to actually care about these Pokemon? If there is, make sure you share it in the comments down below so that yeah, we can have a great discussion regarding this upcoming raid day. And yeah, with that said, that's going to be it for this video. If you ended up enjoying it, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if it's your first time here. And also don't forget that notification bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. And real quick, let me give a shout out to all of my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support the contents of the channel, the absolute best way you could do that is going to be by joining my Patreon. And if you become a paid Patreon member, I'm going to add you to my Pokemon Go friends list. That means for stuff like remote raids and the friendship system, opening and sending gifts. If you want to play Pokemon Go with me, then make sure you go and check out my Patreon. And something you need to keep in mind is that I do plan to attend Pokemon Go Fest in Jersey City. So if you want to get some trades in with me, then make sure you consider joining my Patreon so that you will have a spot on my friends list before that event. And if you want to support my channel in a completely different way, you could always do so by following me on social media. My handle is @Jinsula. I'm on the platforms that you see on the bottom of your screen. Make sure you go over there and give me a follow, and you'll have some access to some exclusive content, and you'll be able to catch up with my daily life. With all that said, that's going to be it for this video. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch you all later.
진솔아와 함께해